a night this was, Tim Legler, the comeback of the night. One of the big comebacks of the year. Lakers in Milwaukee. No LeBron last night. And when Damian Lillard knocks down this shot in the fourth quarter, the Bucks have a 19-point lead.
Yeah, the second time in the game. First quarter, they jumped out to a big lead. They do it again in the fourth, but the Lakers weren't going away. They showed a lot of toughness, and they're the ones that made the winning plays late in this game that had to be made.
Anthony Davis, who played basically the whole night. Austin Reeves, who had a 29-point triple-double. They bring it all the way back. The game winds up tied. Final possession for Milwaukee, 2.5 seconds.
Great play design. First of all, he definitely got held by AD when he tries to make this couple. I don't know why Giannis tried to scoop that. Just catch it and shoot a little short bank shot with your hand on top of the basketball, and it probably goes in. You win the game.
No call, so we go the other way, actually. Final second, Austin Reeves.
Yeah, too deep. Almost banks it in, but just a little bit too deep to get the shot up that he wanted.
So we're going to overtime. 2 minutes and change in the OT. Spencer Dinwiddie, this is the Lakers' first lead of the whole game.
Sneaky acquisition for the Lakers under the radar, but he is going to pay huge dividends once they get to the play-in situation, which I think they'll be in.
So there's the great block from AD, but in the end, this play, great ball movement to Lillard.
Chaos play after the block. Bucks, nice job all the way around the horn. Lillard with a big corner three. It looks like the Bucks are in good shape once again.
It comes down to this. 3 seconds left in overtime. Lillard for the win.
One of the best defensive plays I've seen all year because Anthony Davis had to stay with Giannis till the last second. If he leaves too early, it's a lob dunk game over. Instead, he timed it perfectly.
And then the second overtime belonged to Austin Reeves.
Yeah, great awareness right there on the catch. Sees there's no backline defense, drives baseline, and then the Bucks mess up this switch with the two guards. Austin Reeves steps into an open three.
Reeves had 29 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists. Anthony Davis had 34 points and 23 rebounds in a night when he played 52 minutes and 51 seconds. So he was just shy of 53 minutes. That's the most he's played at any game all year long. And again, the first words you spoke to me this morning when I saw you were, not all regular season games mean the same. That one meant a lot.
It was a significant win for the Lakers. It's a statement win. And I feel like sometimes we definitely are trying to figure out ways that we want to talk about the Lakers as if they're interesting or they're threatening. They looked like it last night without LeBron because of the way they managed the end of this game. And the fact that they dug out of a regular season game on the road without their best player twice, the resilience that it showed. A lot of teams, you're just mailing that in. Once you get down that big early in the game or you get down that big in the fourth quarter, they didn't do it. They fought back, and then they put the ball in the hands of really role players on that team that made the difference, and the Bucks were not able to. And look, AD, as great as he can be offensively some nights, I really believe when the Lakers are at their best, it's because of what we're talking about him doing on the defensive end of the court. He is just a massive disruptor in the paint, and he did it repeatedly last night, including 2 of the biggest possessions of the game. He had his imprints all over it on that end of the floor.
He was spectacular last night. The Lakers were in this dogfight with all these other teams down there in the play-in neighborhood in the Western Conference. And then over on the other side, there are some questions about, if you watch the show, you know I'm a believer in Milwaukee this year in the East, but there are questions, and they reared their head last night.
Well, look, they made a coaching change. Doc Rivers comes in, and they definitely have tightened up things defensively. They are a better defensive team now than they were at the start of the year when they had a lot of issues. But you saw some issues last night with their late game management that surfaced that make you start to think again, is this going to be a problem? First of all, just the flow of the offense late with Lillard and Antetokounmpo. I don't necessarily think they've really hit their stride yet in understanding how they want to operate late in games. Then Giannis missed a couple of big free throws. They had mistakes defensively at critical times that led to wide open shots for the Lakers, basically with the game on the line. So there were some things late in that game, Greeny, that give you a little bit of concern. Even though the Bucks have significantly narrowed the gap with Boston, you see last night, I still think, look, Boston is clearly the heavy favorite to win the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, a really good night in the NBA last night. We'll have more from Legs. So Legs and I were hanging out in hair and makeup this morning, as a couple of guys will usually do. and we got into a long conversation about the NBA regular season and how so many nights it's hard to take a lot out of any individual game because of who plays and who doesn't. But you were very impressed with what the Lakers did last night.
It is why I said to you, not all wins are created equal. This is a huge statement game for the Lakers, particularly at this time of the year. To go in there without LeBron on the road, start out the game, the Bucks have a big lead in the first quarter. Easily, the Lakers could have said, you know what, not our night. We don't have our best player, and mail it in and lose by 25-30. The fact that they showed that kind of fight to get back in the game, and then more importantly, Greeny, the plays they made down the stretch on both ends of the floor. I talked about that block by Anthony Davis on Lillard. If it wasn't for the Anthony Edwards block in the Indiana Pacers game, that's the best defensive play I've seen late in the year because of the timing associated with it. And then offensively, no LeBron, where are you going to go with your offense? Well, Austin Reeves steps up and has the best game probably of his career, and he is so good late in managing the situation as a primary ball handler. Got big help from Dinwiddie, big help from Anthony Davis. Obviously, we've talked about a lot. This is a huge win for the Lakers. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, now here we go, good to go. Lakers going to go on a roll and make it to the conference finals. We're not there yet. But this absolutely carries more weight. And Darvin Ham said top three. I don't know if you're going to find two better wins than that all year long for the Lakers.
Yeah, they won the in-season tournament. But outside of that, and maybe that's what he's referring to, this felt like a statement win. And on the other side, I mean, here's a Milwaukee team about whom there were going to be questions. And you were saying to me this morning, some of those questions really reared their ugly head last night.
Well, they were significantly better in clutch situations pre-Doc. Now, they've improved in some areas with Doc Rivers. They certainly are playing harder defensively. That was a massive problem for them the first half of the season, and it really led to Adrian Griffin's firing. They have improved. I think Doc's made them more accountable. The effort is better consistently on a nightly basis. But late game, managing offensively how you are going to approach, that is still an issue for them. And by the way, I still don't think it's an easy thing to figure out for Damian Lillard when you've got Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is the first time in Damian Lillard's career he's not the best player on the team, probably since he was 5 years old. That creates a little bit of deference and just a little bit of uncertainty in certain moments of how you're going to operate. I think that's a problem for them. And also, again, Giannis's free throw issue surfaced again late last night. Now, that was always a problem for him. He answered that call in a huge way the year they won the championship. In fact, 50 points in the closeout game. I believe he was 17 for 19 from the line, if you recall, in that game in the finals. It surfaced again last night in a big spot, and the second one wasn't really close. You wonder what's going through his mind in those pressure situations. So that's a bad loss for the Bucks, but more importantly, a great win for the Lakers.
Now, the first thing Leg said to me was that might have been the best night of the year in the NBA, and as the morning continues, we'll have a lot more on some of the other games. When you look at your screen right now, you see how important all of these games are. Look how jumbled up everybody is. Remember, number 11 doesn't even get into the play-in, and the Red-Hot Rockets are sitting there just a game behind the Warriors. The Lakers are in the play-in as we speak. The Mavericks and the Suns are in the play-in as we speak. So let's go over the superstars that we're talking about here. You got Luka in that mix. You got KD in that mix. LeBron, Steph. Of those which of those teams do you like the best? Luka's team, KD, LeBron, Steph?
Definitely Dallas. I think Dallas has a legitimate shot to make a run at the Western Conference Finals. If they can avoid Denver's side of the bracket, this is the best team that Luka Doncic has had. Think about what I'm saying. He's already been to the conference finals.
Yeah.
And I know they had Jalen Brunson on that team, but Jalen Brunson is not the same Jalen Brunson that's playing for the Knicks right now. At that time, this is his best team. The way he's meshing with Kyrie, critical. They have been sensational, and they seem like they absolutely have figured out this ebb and flow between them. More importantly, it's the guys around them, the athletes in the middle that finish everything at the rim to put pressure on teams, so you can't just load up on Luka. They've got more than enough shooting on the perimeter. And they're playing their best basketball right now, Greeny, at the most important time of the year.
And which one are you the most worried about? Again, Luka's team you love. KD, LeBron, Steph. Pardon me. Who are you the most worried about?
Absolutely, the Suns. I mean, they've had two of the worst losses I've seen all season. They lose to the Bucks without Giannis, giving up 140 points in that game. And then you lose to the Spurs, a team that's not even trying to win, without Victor Wembanyama. So I don't know how you pull that off if you're the Phoenix Suns. It's literally virtually impossible to do what they did against the Spurs. So I'm looking at the Phoenix Suns right now. I see a group of guys that literally look like they just met each other. There's no connection. And there's no toughness. They just don't have that fight that you need to see every night. I know Frank Vogel's seeing the same things. Can he draw that out of them? Do they have enough leadership in that locker room to figure this out? Because there's too much talent at the top of the roster to come out and play that listless the way that they have in some of these losses recently. So no doubt, Phoenix is the team that I'm clearly most concerned about. We just said it. Lakers had a great win last night. Warriors had a great win last night. And you know how I feel about Dallas. Well,
Yeah.
process of elimination, that means the Phoenix Suns are in a little bit of trouble.
Maybe the ones who get eliminated. All right, stay close.